António Giua para dirigir este Juventus Frosinone. É o jogo de abertura da jornada 24 do Calcio da Série A italiana. Luís Catarino, boa noite. Temos então a Juve é confortável ao nível da Série A, a receber ainda por cima hoje uma equipa que está a lutar para não descer de este 11 da Juventus e há, sobretudo a destacar, as trocas que acontecem ao nível do meio campo, pensando que Pjanic e Matuidi hoje vão para o banco de suplentes. No resto é um ataque de luxo, acaba por ser remodelada em relação ao último jogo, contando Giorgio Chiellini e de regresso à titularidade o outro português do plantel da Juventus, João Cancelo, que vai também a jogo de início, tal como Ronaldo, para esta recepção da Juventus Frosinone, antes dessa primeira mão dos oitavos da Liga dos Campeões na quarta-feira, perante o Atlético de Madrid.
Boa noite, Sérgio Duarte Almeida. Não tarda, a velha senhora apanha o avião para Madrid no confronto com o Atlético na Liga dos Campeões, mas como tu já sugeriste, a política de descanso não passa pelo Cristiano. O monstro madeirense é o único jogador que participou em todas as jornadas da Juventus no campeonato, e é nessa base que se contra o madeirense é o único jogador que participou em todas as jornadas da Juventus no campeonato, e é nessa base que se constitui hoje como o maior caçador de golos da Série A. A Juve tem no CR7 a sua fórmula de valor incalculável para ter êxito, e o Max Allegri colecionou 63 dos 69 pontos possíveis na Série A. Razão manter o ótimo andamento. O Frosinone é o intruso no território das zebras, e vale a pena lembrar que os amarelos já pregaram uma partida à Juventus em setembro de 2015, quando empataram 1-1 no tempo de compensação.
De regresso à titularidade o outro português do plantel da Juventus, João Cancelo, que vai também a jogo de início, tal como Ronaldo, para esta recepção da Juventus.
Icónico na história do Calcio mais recente. O Chiellini vai estar no eixo defensivo dos Bianconeri, fazer dupla com o Bonucci, é o eixo mais forte e digamos que nas últimas semanas, quando um ou outro faltava, o Rogani dos Bianconeri, fazer dupla com o Bonucci, é o eixo mais forte e digamos que nas últimas semanas, quando um ou outro faltava, o Rogani e o Cáceres nem sempre deram conta do recado. Mas o único destaque que eu fazia na equipa da Juventus é precisamente este homem, do recado. Mas o único destaque que eu fazia na equipa
held by Parma in their last home game. Juventus haven't gone 2 home matches without a win for nearly 3.5 years now. The referee there in the middle of your picture for tonight's game, Antonio Giua, who was the 4th official on his last visit in November for Juve's 2-0 home win over Spal. Daunting task this evening for a Frosinone side who've won only 3 matches all season and found the net on a league-low 17 occasions. Juventus welcome back both Giorgio Chiellini and Leonardo Bonucci from injury. Douglas Costa is suspended. Bernardeschi, Pjanic and Matuidi all drop to the bench. As for the visitors, Frosinone make a couple of changes to the team that won away to Sampdoria last Sunday. Former Juventus player Christian Molinaro and recent loan signing Federico Viviani both start instead of Raffaele Maiello and Andrea Beghetto. So good run out for these two, Trevor, isn't it? Chiellini and Bonucci. Allegri, I mean, the timing has worked out well for him. He can test them out, make sure that they're fit and raring to go ahead of next week in the Champions League, having both been out injured as well for the last couple of weeks.
Yes, I think they'll be needed far more during the middle of next week in Madrid against Atletico. Well,
I think you might be right there.
You would tend to think so, but what does surprise me a little bit tonight is that there are so many empty seats. When you think of what Juventus have achieved, not just this season, but over the past few years, you wouldn't see these kind of empty seats at Stamford Bridge or Old Trafford or Anfield.
absolutely. Antonio Giua, the referee, almost ready to go. We just saw a shot there of Marco Baroni, the coach of Frosinone, took over just before Christmas. He, by the way, was the coach who guided Benevento into Serie A for the first time ever. That was back in 2017, a couple of years ago. Can he engineer an upset here? And goodness me, what an upset it would be if Frosinone got something from this match. And Juventus, well, you don't need me to tell you, they're in their traditional colours, and it's Frosinone in all yellow tonight.
Yes, and as I mentioned a little while ago, Frosinone starting off with 3 or possibly 5 at the back. And the one thing they cannot possibly do is to concede early on. That would have been uppermost in their thinking prior to the game. I'm sure the coach would have mentioned it just prior to leaving the dressing room. Keep it tight early on, that was the message. Well,
they have tightened up a little bit in recent matches. Well, more than a little bit, I should say. They conceded 5 against Atalanta fairly recently, but they've only conceded 1 goal in their last 3 fixtures since that game, and that was to Lazio, who've been going pretty well this season. First free kick of the match conceded there by Emre Can with a high boot, just catching Francesco Cassata.
Well, I'm sure it was accidental, but there are referees throughout Europe who may have deemed that as dangerous play and possibly brandished a yellow card.
Yeah, Cassata is okay. He's one of several loan players with Frosinone. They've got him on loan from Sassuolo. The first touch, probably of many, one has to say, for Marco Sportiello there, the goalkeeper, Chipsa, who hasn't missed a match for Frosinone this season. Collected on the near side by Molinaro. Molinaro, who was a Juventus player, is in his mid-30s now, and Sportiello almost caught out in possession.
That was interesting, because the first time the ball was played back to the goalkeeper, he took his time, dwelt on it a little bit, and Ronaldo recognised that. And the second time it went back, he pressed him very, very quickly and very nearly robbed him of possession.
Little touch there from Cristiano Ronaldo. He's been involved in 70% of Juventus's goals this season. That's 37 out of 53, and there's the point you were just making, Trev. He's very quick to react. Here's Emre Can. Got flicked forward by Di Sciglio, playing on the left-hand side of the Juve defence with João Cancelo in the other full-back role. Here's Khedira back in the team today. He's got a little knock already, I think. Sami Khedira just bent over double inside the Frosinone half of the field. Now looks okay now, just getting up to stride. Molinaro and the flick in field by Cassata. Comfortable. First touch of the ball for Wojciech Szczesny in goal for Juventus tonight. The Polish international started 2 of the previous 5, of course, because they have Mattia Perin, the Italian international, former Genoa player, on their books as well. So, as with all other areas, spoilt for choice, Juventus.
It's been a great move for Szczesny, hasn't it? Having said that, I think if he was still at Arsenal, he would be the #1 now.
And of course, he's had that spell with Roma as well, hasn't he, in Italy? So he's certainly got some impressive club names on his list of employers over the seasons, and Szczesny gets it away. 8 clean sheets in 17 league appearances for him. He's only conceded 11 goals in the league, but of course he's helped out by those in front of him. And Chiellini missed the last couple, but back in today. Comfortable for Szczesny. Lowest scorers in Serie A, just 17 on the season, Frosinone. And Camillo Ciano has scored 6 of them, and Daniel Ciofani with 3. Here's Cristiano Ronaldo. Covered by Chiellini. quite got the full BBC today with Bazali on the bench. He's coming back to full fitness and still part of the squad as it's swept from one side of the pitch to the other by Paulo Dybala. Sami Khedira. Dybala with a little touch in. Collected by Emre Can. Gaining some ground. He was looking for Mandzukic. Suddenly all hands on deck here. Plenty of yellow shirts deep behind the ball, and Ronaldo finds Dybala. Oh, what a goal! Paulo Dybala! An outstanding finish. And Dybala,
who strikes it with such venom with his left foot. The ball always going away from the goalkeeper. Sportiello has got absolutely no chance. Brilliant strike. Just what Frosinone did not want.
yeah, and very much what Dybala did need, because remember, he scored 22 goals in the league last season in 33 matches. It's only the third time he scored in the league all season in his 23rd. Away, the head of Di Sciglio. Free kick for the robust challenges coming in on Rodrigo Bentancur, the Uruguayan. And you sense the pattern for this game has perhaps been set rather early, the template for what's to come here. Be a tough evening for Frosinone's players. They will have known that, though, even before they arrived, of course, as Dybala sends it over. Mandzukic down, Khedira with a little layoff. Ronaldo. And of course, having seen Dybala score a goal like that, he'll want to get on the act really sooner rather than later, no doubt.
Well, he's got a chance now because he's won his team a free kick. Rash challenge from Shipsa. Ronaldo taking possession, getting tangled up with the Frosinone player. This is an opportunity for Ronaldo to strike the goal.
Well, clean sheet a week ago, Sportiello, but he was picking the ball out of the back of his net as early as the 6th minute here in this one, and the feeling he might need to be on his toes at this moment in time. 18 goals. Familiar pose from Ronaldo. 18 goals in 23 matches in the league this season. Study, concentration. Study. Here comes Ronaldo, and the wall just takes the sting out of it.
What an anticlimax.
Di Sciglio back to Chiellini. Here's Bonucci. Di Sciglio back to Chiellini. Here's Bonucci. Bit of space for Khedira. Collected by Bentancur. Here's João Cancelo, the number 20, the Portuguese international. And the Juve goal scorer, Dybala. Cancelo, Dybala. You see the confidence flowing through Dybala's veins, can't you, all of a sudden? It's the heart of the action for Juventus. And Bentancur sending it forward, Dybala with a little knockdown, finds Ronaldo, who was looking for Mandzukic. It's easing their way into this game.
Well, I think it's a classic example of how well Juventus are doing. Already 11 points clear. The supporters have turned up expecting to be entertained, and they would expect a convincing victory. But sometimes the supporters have got to get behind the team, give them something to shout about, and at the moment, for the Juventus players, it's like playing in front of a library.
Yeah, it's a very subdued atmosphere at the moment. That goal, by the way, from Dybala, the 50th that Juventus have scored this season in the league already. Nobody scored more. They joined Atalanta, who'd already scored 50 goals from their opening 23 matches. The flick forward there by Mandzukic. Here's Dybala. Black and white shirts, busy buzzing around up towards the edge of the Frosinone penalty area. And Dybala just dropping back here into a little bit of space to collect possession, but short to Mandzukic, which enabled Marco Capuano to bring the ball away.
Well, you mentioned that Dybala hasn't really scored that many goals this season, but he's more than a goal scorer. He drops deep, and he's a very clever footballer, great in possession, sees a pass. I'd imagine he's made quite a few assists this season. He's that type of player.
Now Frosinone just trying to play their way back into this game as Molinaro sends it over into the penalty area. Ball drops invitingly, ball blocked there by Emre Can. Shot from Viviani, and Ronaldo manages to hold off the defender, keep his footing, keep the move going. Juve up to the edge of the penalty area, and Frosinone survive an anxious moment, and there's a chance now for Francesco Zampano to get it up towards the halfway line, or maybe not. Referee's going to bring the game back. Free kick for the home side.
Clever play from Ronaldo, despite the fact he's 34, shows his pace of getting away from the defender. Salomon.
More pressure, more concentration required. It's going to be a tiring match mentally as well. The far post, and he's been pulled up for a foul.
Well, it was good defending, wasn't it, from Molinaro at the back post, despite the close attention of Mandzukic, who we all know is excellent in the air, especially at that far post. Molinaro did a good defensive job.
Bonucci forward. Bonucci, by the way, missed the last couple of matches with an ankle injury. The Lazio game was the last one he played in before this evening. Here's Emre Can. Ronaldo has Joao Cancelo for support on the near side. Cancelo. Outnumbered, but it will be the home team's ball. Second league start in the last couple of months for Cancelo. Played in the last home game, the 3-3 draw with Parma. Comes to the far post, awkward save, finally forced over the line.
Показывает не просто свой стиль и свой статус. Ювентус показывает, что он великолепно готов эмоционально. Ни в коем случае нельзя никогда играть расслабленно с соперником, который изначально слабее тебя. Нарушение правил. Бентанкур в центре поля. Уругваец в последнее время
Molinaro with the flick aiming for Ciano. Casata for Frosinone. Salomon. And comfortably seen behind by Di Sciglio. Zampano having made the run down the right-hand side. Well, Bentancur was prepared to make the chase and very nearly kept the ball in. Not a great deal of history between these two clubs. It's, as I mentioned at the start of the match, still something of a novelty, I think, for followers of Frosinone to be involved in games like this. It's only the club's second ever season in Serie A, and beyond that, they've only ever played in Serie B for 8 seasons. So it's been the lower leagues for Frosinone for the vast majority of their life. So big deal when they won promotion last summer, having previously been in A in the 2015-16 season. One off the bottom at the moment on 16 points, but it's so tight that a couple of wins and they could be up as high as 14th or 15th in the table. So there's still lots to play for, still very much in the hunt with the possibility of staying up. Szczesny decides to stay on his line here. The ball doesn't bounce out as far as Zampano, and Di Sciglio with opportunity to clear. Almost a quarter of the way through the match. Time here for Salomon.
Dare I say it, but if Frosinone were to win today, they would go outside of the relegation zone. Don't laugh at that comment.
Well, that's quite a sizable if at the moment, I have to say, but you never know. 3/4 of the match to go, and Frosinone at least enjoying a decent little spell of possession here, moving the ball around well. This is Raman Chipsa.
It's been an awful start for them. They would not wanted to have been 2 goals behind after 20 minutes. This is a wonderful day out. Well, it can be if they come away from this ground not being embarrassed, but all the signs at the moment, they don't bode well.
Well, that was a world-class goal from Dybala in the 6th minute. If you've just joined our coverage a little late, we'll no doubt bring you that goal during half-time. But Bonucci from about 3 centimetres with the second goal, following a corner on a scramble as Ronaldo chases. He's got company. That's Eduardo Goldaniga.
One aspect of Juventus' play that is very impressive is their ability to press the ball well, and not allowing Frosinone to settle on the ball. When I looked at that midfield three of Khedira, Can and Bentancur, I thought it was all somewhat similar. I couldn't quite understand why Pjanic, with his...
I think he's having a rest ahead of that Champions League game, maybe. Pjanic, Matuidi as well played last week.
I mean, Pjanic offers something different. Technically, he's very, very gifted, brings a little bit of fantasia with his play. But what those three do in the middle of the park is they close the ball down superbly well. Don't give the opposition a moment's possession.
Yeah, Emre Can, one of those coming into the Juventus side tonight. He'd come off the bench the last couple of games, scored last weekend. They had that 3-3 draw with Parma in the last home game, but normal service was resumed a week ago when they were 3-0 winners away at Sassuolo. Chiellini getting to the ball ahead of Ciano. It'll be a free kick. Cancelo into Dybala. Nicely done. A space for Emre Can to run into here. Chipsa still working hard. Bentancur into Cancelo. A bit wayward from the Portuguese player, and Di Sciglio saves his blushes. Bonucci, scorer of the second goal. Here's Cristiano Ronaldo, long way out, worth a dip.
I don't think either of us would have been surprised if we saw that ball nested in the back of the net. The moment he took possession, he looked up, he had one thing on his mind, set his sights on striking it for goal. It wasn't that far wide.
Yeah, Ronaldo going for the unexpected there. Molinaro. Comfortably won by Bonucci in the air. Ahead of Ciano. Giglio into Sami Khedira. Ronaldo through the middle at the moment. Mandzukic is heading to the far post. Dybala sees the ball go sailing past as far as Cancelo, and Salomon, the Polish central defender, there to head the ball clear. Dybala finds Jan. Chiellini. Ronaldo's flick just gets away from Khedira, which enabled Goldaniga to get it away, and there will be a free kick here for Frosinone, and the first yellow card of the match. And Emre Can just wanders away and doesn't even bother disagreeing with the referee's decision. I just caught on the arm.
He's saying to himself now, why did I do that? Sometimes in football you can't explain what you've done. I mean, there's just no need for that. Just hope for his sake that doesn't prove costly. Because he does like to make a tackle, doesn't he, Can?
Yeah.
And he's got, what, another hour?
First start for him in the league since the Lazio game on the 27th of January. Molinaro. And Mandzukic down on the ground after the close attentions of Marco Capuano. Juventus with two players on the floor, Cancelo as well. Mandzukic has stayed down, but his teammates continue to venture forward here. Bentancur, Cancelo, now Dybala, who's full of running. And Mandzukic, as you can see, back up, but still nursing the bruised back from moments ago. This is Chiellini.
It's all a little bit easy, isn't it, for Juventus? Frosinone unable to apply any pressure. Well, just as I mentioned that.
Yeah, it was Christian Molinaro with the pressure on Cristiano Ronaldo winning the ball back. And also there just Casata snapping at the heels of the Juventus midfield, trying to get his foot in there and win the ball back. One effort from Frosinone's attack that just whistled past Szczesny's post from a free kick, but that's about it. He hasn't really had a save to make so far, has he, the Juventus goalkeeper? Given away by Francesco Casata. Goldaniga able to jab it up to Chipsa, and here now is Francesco Zampano. Another loanee, Zampano, from Pescara for the season. A lot of lone players in this Frosinone team. Slowly venturing forward with Capuano. Ball back inside, Federico Viviani. This is Ciano, and it's straight over Ciofani's head, but covered at the back at the expense of a corner.
Well, it was a hopeful cross, wasn't it? Put into the Juventus penalty box. But what was pleasing for Frosinone was the fact that they got 4 players in the box.
Over it comes, and tug of the shirt there from Chiellini.
Well, we both saw that.
Nobody seemed to mind, did they? Not even the player whose shirt was almost pulled off his back.
Well, I immediately looked at the referee, and he was about 6 7 yards away, watching Chiellini pull his shirt.
And then I looked at you.
And he totally ignored it.
Nothing he hasn't seen before. Yeah, it was almost pulled. And Giorgio Chiellini. Here's Bonucci. A little too heavy-footed, Zampano able to get his head on that one, and now it's with Raman Chipsa. Just moving through the middle here is Casata, hoping the ball will be slid his way, and also Ciofani in the centre. No save required this time, but it's better from Frosinone.
Yeah, Ciofani, I think, is disappointed because this is a lovely cross on his head. Granted, he's 12 yards from goal, but he should be hitting the target. He's under no pressure. Bonucci 2 yards off him, can't get tight. Free header, should be asking Chesney to at least make a save.
Yeah, and he's not in bad form either, Ciofani. It was he who scored the only goal to win the match at the Marassi last weekend against Sampdoria as the flag goes up. Just offside against Bentancur. The Uruguayan international for Juventus. Bit of space here now for Raman Chipsa. And also for Zampano over on the far side if they work the ball there. And instead, going for glory was Camilo Ciano. And it all rather fizzled out for Frosinone there. I thought Zampano was in a good spot to carry it forward down that right flank. Go! .47 points the difference between the two teams going into this match tonight, with Frosinone on 16. 3 wins, but they got 7 draws as well, which has helped to keep them in the frame for potential survival. Paulo Dybala. This is a nice flowing move, and Ronaldo looks like he's just the sort of man who could finish it off, but such power in the shot that it almost knocked Capuano off his feet.
It was good defending though from Capuano. He was brave, he got in the way of it.
Sami Khedira now. Beautifully floated in, but in the end too close to Marco Sportiello. Well, he certainly looks pretty uncomfortable, Emre Can. Which is a rather worrying sign there when a player is left holding their knee. It was a Bonucci there with the raised boot. Just beating Sami Khedira to the ball. Miralem Pjanic among the substitutes for Juventus tonight, getting a rest ahead of that big match in Madrid next Tuesday. Both players involved in that challenge appear to be okay, and the referee clearly did see it differently, as you say. Back with the home team though, with roughly 10 minutes to go to half-time.
It's good forward play from Mandzukic, but not great defending from Salomon. He gets far too tight on the Juventus striker and allows Mandzukic to roll him and win his team a free kick.
Salomon, a player they got from Spal for the season.
He's been around a long while, hasn't he, Mandzukic? He showed all his experience and know-how there. Such a clever player.
Chipped in with 8 goals in Serie A as well this season. Cristiano Ronaldo, as ever, licking his lips at the prospect of a set play within range of the penalty area. We're ready. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. It's up and over the wall, but over the top of the crossbar too. Andrea Barzagli among those looking on. Named among the substitutes. He played a handful of matches so far this season. Barzagli, a man who's in the autumn of his career at 37 years of age, but recently returned to the bench after a spell out through injury. Won by Chiellini initially. Doesn't fall for Mandzukic. Here's João Cancelo. Now Can. Well, so far, so comfortable for Juventus in this fixture. Those 2 early goals in the opening 16 minutes of the game. Chiellini. in that challenge. So Mandzukic in the wars, but he's going to be okay. Doesn't seem too sure whether to hold his head or his wrist actually at first there. Magic spray on his forearm. I think he may have had his forearm trodden on there just inadvertently.
Mentioned a little earlier the size of the Juventus players. They are a big threat on set pieces. The second goal resulted from a Dybala corner, and once again Khedira, Chiellini, Ronaldo, and all going forward. Bonucci's in there again.
Chips up away, but giving it away as well, as far as Emre Can, who was just caught by Viviani, which has left him hopping around in the middle of midfield. We're inside the last 5 minutes of this first half. 2 early goals for Juventus, asserting their authority on the match, almost from the off. And Dybala, having come deep, finds Bonucci. A chase now for Cancelo, covered at the back by Marco Capuano. Comfortably away by Sportiello, only as far as Bonucci. And still they're patching up the Croatian striker.
Well, you'd have thought with a big game coming up middle of next week against Atletico Madrid, they wouldn't take any chances, no. Because I would have thought that Mandzukic would be a definite starter in Madrid.
Forward by Capuano, full flick on by Francesco Cassata. And it's off Molinaro for a throw-in for the home side. Chiellini striding purposefully forward, but given away. Christian Molinaro. Chano tussling with Emre Can. Almost losing his shirt in the process. More untidy from Emre Can in midfield. As Capuano brings it forward. We get a free kick as well. So Juventus with a little defending to do here at the back end of the first half. It's something they've had to do too much of so far in this match. Behind for a corner kick. Chano's delivery in. Goldeniga going up for it.
I think the referee's got that wrong. I think Goldeniga touched it last. That should have been a goal.
Players going for the ball. Referee judging it had come off the Juventus defender. Chipser can't get to it, can he? No. Plenty of yellow shirts. It was Salamon who poked his foot at the ball, but couldn't get it past one of his teammates there on the edge of the penalty area. Molinaro. So last few seconds of added time, probably about another half a minute or so, and another opportunity for Frosinone to maybe test Wojciech Szczesny. Just before the half-time interval here, Chiellini with that left arm, just catching Camillo Ciano.
I think the referee's right. You can see Chiellini having a little look to see where the player is, then he leads with his left arm. It clearly catches the Frosinone player. Referee did well there.
Referee Antonio Giua. And Szczesny, who's been a spectator for the vast majority of this opening half, might be required to do something here. Deep in added time here at the end of the opening 40.
It tells you a story. He was rooted to his spot. He was hoping that ball was going over the crossbar because he was never going to get to it.
Paulo Dybala opened the scoring in the 6th minute of the match with a fantastic goal into the top corner of the net. Juventus 2-0 up. 10 minutes later, Leonardo Bonucci with the goal, and that's how it stays at half-time. Juventus 2, Frosinone 0.
No puede simular el buen juego de pies. Este es el auténtico que vale.
So 2-0 to Juventus, and it was an excellent start that they made. Let's have a little look at the highlights from the first half. And Juventus on the front foot straight away. Cristiano Ronaldo involved in the play, as you might expect, but Paulo Dybala had that for a finish.
Well, when Ronaldo takes possession, he thinks about shooting, but rolls it square to Dybala, and this is just effort. The ball going away from Sportiello, the goalkeeper for Frosinone, who gets absolutely nowhere near it. A tremendous strike.
Yeah, and put in a spot like that, I don't think anyone's going to save that one, and Sportiello just left grasping at thin air. And Dybala's first league goal since November, but Juventus 10 minutes later were 2-0 up. It was Mandzukic originally with the header from beyond the far post, and Bonucci just beating Khedira to the ball.
Well, it's Dybala with the corner with his left foot, and I think it's Ronaldo who gets the initial touch with his head. Little flick on there, Mandzukic at the back post, a good save from Sportiello, but there's no teammate of his who can challenge the two Juventus players, Khedira and Bonucci, and it's clearly Bonucci with a high raised foot who gets the final touch, taking it away from Khedira.
Well, Juventus making most of the running, as you might have expected during the opening half, and we've seen one or two moments from Cristiano Ronaldo, not least that one there.
Yeah, it's quite speculative, fully 30 yards out, but the goalkeeper watches it closely, not too interested.
Well, Frosinone have got forward whenever they can. A couple of times they've got close to Szczesny's goal, and Ciofani had an opportunity here with his head, having got to the ball ahead of Leonardo Bonucci.
Yeah, he's a long way out, fully 12 yards, but it's a free header. Bonucci can't get close to him. He's a good 2 yards off him. And I felt there that he should really have tested Szczesny.
And here, right on the stroke of half-time, in added time, Camillo Ciano with his free kick. It was an excellent effort.
Well, you can see Szczesny really worried about this. He couldn't do nothing about it. He's watching on, hoping that ball goes over the crossbar, as it does.
Of post and bar. So 2-0 at half-time to Juventus. So it's 2-0 at the break in Turin and ahead of the second half. Let's sit back now and enjoy the best Serie A goals from Christian Vieri's career, some of which, of course, were scored in the black and white of Juventus.
And here's Perini. And Vieri! Oh, that's sublime! A faultless finish from Vieri. Just tremendous control to punish Piacenza.
Mihajlovic will go long. Look back to Vieri. Oh, it's a brilliant effort. How about that from Christian Vieri? A thunderous finish to make the breakthrough. Linking here with Marcelo Salas. He finds the finish emphatically.
Vieri on the move, and Vieri lets fly with a majestic goal. What a sumptuous hit from Christian Vieri.
Plenty of options here for Inter with Zanetti. He draws the foul and wins the free kick. And Sousa is going to take it quickly into the fit of Christian Vieri with a time to turn and finds a fabulous finish. Vieri with a brilliant goal. Some season he is having already. This one to remember against Parma.
Not a good clearance by Cardoni. And Vieri drills it into the bottom corner. No great celebration against his old club, but yet another example of Vieri's ability to pounce.
Something for Recoba to chase. Has carried Antonio Carlos with him as well. Recoba, Vieri lurking, Vieri scoring. Christian Vieri creating the noise, creeping in at the far post. His finish precise.
Dalma. This is Vieri. It's there to be hit. And Christian Vieri took aim, fired, and found that corner.
Di Biagio looking for Vieri, who finds his hat-trick to make it 11 goals in his first 10 games. He timed his run wonderfully well to stay on side and meet the ball from Luigi Di Biagio.
Here's Rivalta. And Vieri with a snap shot! Oh, extraordinary goal! Vieri's first goal for Atalanta in over 11 years. And it's a real thing of beauty.
Bacardi. Aguarente. Peter, good pass. It's Vieri who supplies the finishing touch. He's still got it. Christian Vieri poaching once again.
My name's Tim McTeague and welcome to Galazio Bar in South London. Italian football was something I was very fond of during the 90s and because of which I jokingly said to my friend about 5 years ago, I said, why don't I open a bar with loads of the shirts and sort of the memorabilia around it. So 5 years later, this is it. In terms of the decor, I have tried to get in all of the big teams in Italy and get it quite evenly in. I was once told off by Roma fans who told me there wasn't enough Roma in here, so I've equalled the balance slightly. In terms of the food and drink, there is imported Italian craft beers, we do Italian lagers, Italian wines, your usual cocktails, and our pizza is sort of large 22-inch pizza dough slice, which is very good. The 99 World Cup was my first World Cup, so it's very fondly sort of remembered. There was all of the romance behind it, all of the Pavarotti, there was all of the Italian flair they had there. And directly after the 1990 World Cup, Channel 4, which is the English channel, they hosted Serie A. So a lot of English fans really took this to their hearts. The English Premier League, it was not accessible to all due to it was on Sky TV, cable TV, and there was not a lot of people in your class at school would have Sky TV. The only football fix they could get was Italian football, and it was on Channel 4, which did a show on a Saturday and a Sunday. And you know, on the Monday morning we'd then talk about that show in the playground. The show had a very famous end line, which was Go Lazio, which is great goal, but Go Lazio was what a lot of English fans thought it was, so, but we're not necessarily Lazio fans, we sit on the fence. The game that I remember most fondly was Lazio against Milan, and Milan won with Van Basten up front. Milan won 5-3, and it was just a great game. It was, you know, people talked about the fact that Italian football was a bit sort of more tactical, a bit more defensive, you know, but this just that threw that whole thing out the window because it was 5-3. It was a crazy game and a beautiful game as well. It was a real huge deal about Gascoigne, England's best player, going out to Italy, joining Lazio, who were giants of football, a very ambitious team. He scored a famous goal against Roma in the derby, and he was a bit of a, you know, bit Paul Gascoigne, a bit crazy, but you know, people love him for that. So the sort of pride of place in the bar is a Paul Gascoigne stencil as soon as you come in, which is we're very, very proud of that. We've got a big screen, there's lots of tables in here, so people are all facing the same way. We do play all the Italian football games, the live ones. If there's a bit of downtime in the football, we show quite a lot of classic games. There's usually a good atmosphere when goals go in. People are really engrossed in the games. Italian football everywhere you look.
Welcome back to our Friday night Italian match, the first of the 24th round of fixtures. Juventus at home to Frosinone and leading by 2-0 at half-time. So let's take a look at the rest of the matches coming up around the peninsula over the weekend. The big game tomorrow sees 5th place Atalanta hosting Milan, who are 1 place and 1 point above them in the table. On Sunday, both Napoli and Inter at home. Sampdoria head to the Giuseppe Meazza, while the evening kickoff sees Napoli hosting Torino. The last game of the round takes place on Monday night with Roma, who are chasing a European spot at home to struggling Bologna. So far so good for Juventus. They started the match in style with a fantastic goal from Paulo Dybala, scoring in the 6th minute. Leonardo Bonucci with a second in the 16th minute means that at the break Juventus lead Frosinone by 2-0. So right on cue, the teams wandering out from the changing rooms. There's Cristiano Ronaldo. We've seen a couple of efforts on goal, fizzing past the post from him. But the man who provided the biggest moment of the first half, Paulo Dybala, with the opening goal in the 6th minute of the match. Well, Mario Mandzukic there looks as if he's fine and ready to come out for the second half. He injured his wrist shortly before half-time in a fall, but all is well. The last time we saw him here, they were putting a big bandage on his right forearm, but that clearly is gone, so he is okay and back out for the second half, so no problem there. Frosinone almost getting a goal back right on the stroke of half-time with a free kick fired in by Camillo Ciano. He's their top scorer. He scored 6 goals this season. He nearly had number 7 there, Trevor.
I think that's a warning to Juventus, you know, not to get too casual and too complacent and to give free kicks away around the edge of the box, because he clearly is excellent on taking free kicks with his left foot. A foot lower, that would have been a goal to Frosinone, because clearly Chesney couldn't do anything about it. He could only watch it.
So 2-0 tonight. That was the score when the two sides met earlier in the season, although Juventus didn't score those 2 goals until the last 10 minutes of the game. Wojciech Szczesny, it's the 18th time he's played in the league this season, hasn't had too much to do so far, and no wonder Paulo Dybala looks pretty happy at the moment. That was a stunning goal to get the evening up and running. His 8th goal of the season in total. Been on the bench for the last couple of matches in the league before today, Dybala, but back in the starting 11 and with a bang as well this evening. The referee, if you've just joined our coverage, by the way, Antonio Giua. Almost ready to go. Juventus going with a strong lineup tonight. Of course, they've got that big Champions League game against Atletico Madrid in Madrid coming up early next week, but Max Allegri going with a strong lineup this evening, not resting his big name players, putting them out there, and I think still hoping to even at this stage improve the understanding between Mandzukic, Dybala and Ronaldo.
I think Allegri will be looking to his team to get a 3rd goal, and then I'm sure he would be a little bit more relaxed, think the game is probably won, and allow him to make 1 or 2 changes with Atletico Madrid, the Champions League game, very much in mind. If it stays 2-0, he's not going to risk it, because despite the fact they're 11 points clear of Napoli, he wants 3 points desperately today.
Considering how dominant they have been, I mean 20 wins and 3 draws, no defeats in the league this season. It is interesting that Juventus haven't scored more than 3 goals against anyone at home this season. Their best win 3-0 against in the league anyway, against Chievo, and 3-0's their biggest away win too at both Fiorentina and Sassuolo. So 2 goals so far tonight.
Simon, I wouldn't expect you to answer this question, but I'm just wondering what the most number of points Juventus have actually accumulated in winning the Scudetto in Italy, because you know, with a win here tonight they go 14 points clear, and that's a lot of points.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary performance from them so far to have racked up 63 points from the 23 games, and comfortable save there for Marco Sportiello, the Frosinone goalkeeper. Player they've got on loan from Atalanta. Atalanta, of course, who are going so well this season as well, really pushing for a top 4 place. Big game this weekend coming up at home to Milan. Here's Raman Chipsa. Not for long. Mandzukic taking it off his toes, deep inside his own half, Mario Mandzukic. That was a surprise, seeing him pop up there. Ronaldo pushed off the ball. Referee not interested, despite Ronaldo's look and gesture. Baroni there, the coach of Frosinone, not been in the job too long. Took over after Moreno Longo was sacked just before Christmas. Longo having led the team to promotion last season. Given away by Dybala. Collected here by Chipsa, the Ghanaian midfielder. Here's some support from Francesco Zampano, who has Eduardo Goldaniga on the near side. Goldaniga was the player involved in the collision with Mario Mandzukic just before half-time, which led to a reasonably lengthy stoppage in play. Hopeful ball in by Camillo Ciano. Bartosz Salomon, support from Federico Viviani. Szczesny staying on his line and trying to get onto the end of that. One of the defenders who'd come up from the back, and Juventus now look to break with Cristiano Ronaldo. Support from Emre Can, and the shot in the end coming in from Sami Khedira.
Well, Juventus almost capitalising on the fact that Frosinone had sent a lot of players into advanced area. They hit them on the counter-attack. You don't say that too often when Juventus are playing at home, but they did then. They did it well. Khedira couldn't quite get the strike he would have wanted, but I was about to say that despite the fact that Juventus are leading 2-0, by Ronaldo's standards, it's been a rather quiet first half for him. I would expect him to do a little more in this second half.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much of him so far in this game. Dybala there was quick to release the ball under pressure. Here he is once more. Good at staying on his feet. That was a tidy flick from Ronaldo, collected by Mattia Di Scilio. Zampano back for Frosinone, but he can't keep hold of the ball. Khedira. Chips up solid as a rock, times the challenge well. Juventus rather thought they were going to have a corner. And Miralem Pjanic, as you can see, getting ready to enter the fray here early in the second half. Dybala. New time for Bonucci. Put under a little bit of pressure by Ciofani, collected by Dybala, and Molinaro concedes a free kick. Christian Molinaro, who was a Juventus player between 2007 and 2010. It was the first choice actually, chipping away at Dybala there. It was a first choice for Frosinone the first part of the season, but has been on the bench since October. A rare outing for him tonight, and Chiellini now galloping forward. You get a free kick as well.
I think Chiellini was guilty there of a little bit of diving, but say it quietly.
He certainly had plenty to say about it, didn't he, Chiellini? So expressive. Great running here by Dybala! Just turned away by Bartosz Salomon, but he was at full stretch there.
Great movement, wasn't it, from Dybala? Terrific ball across the box, and this was going to fall for Ronaldo to put into the back of the net. If it wasn't for Salomon getting that all-important touch.
Just watch Ronaldo here. Frustration. In his terms, it's been that sort of night, in terms of his own game.
There's plenty of time for him.
Yeah, exactly. Dybala now taking the corner, and the header just over the top of the bar. And it was Ronaldo. Gets a little touch of Capuano. All hands on deck for Frosinone as the ball comes in. It's headed away by Capuano. Bentancur able to keep the ball in play. And here's Mattia Di Scilio. Dybala, who's popping up all over the pitch.
Well, the front three are given the licence to roam wherever they see fit to go. It's been quite noticeable that they've been interchanging throughout the first 45 minutes. Mandzukic predominantly plays on the left, but he's often turned off into central positions and on the right-hand side.
Played by Khedira, Mandzukic there, just moving infield now from the Juve left. João Cancelo. He's looking for Bentancur. Collected by Capuano off the boot of Emre Can. And back with Bonucci. Well, the possession here, all Juve's at the moment, as it's sent up towards Mario Mandzukic. Salomon gets his head on the ball first. Bentancur losing out to Casata. Oh, not a good ball to Viviani. Could open up here. It's Ronaldo. And a very timely intervention. Away comes Zampano.
Well, clearly Ronaldo should have done better there, but I think the pass to him was slightly behind him and needed a little bit more weight on the ball so that he didn't have to break stride.
Now it's Frosinone's turn to venture forward. Twinkle-toed approach to the penalty area. But it's left a few gaps that the home team will look to take advantage of. Emre Can sliding it through, and Ronaldo was clearly thinking something else.
This is where Molinaro carelessly gives the ball away. That's the pass I was on about. Needed a little bit more weight on it. Still, having said that, Ronaldo should have done better.
Eduardo Gordaniga, the player who made the challenge and brought the attack to a halt. Ciofani with a little knockdown towards Ciano, but again confidently dealt with without any undue fuss by the Juventus defence. But it's going to come straight back towards them. But again, nowhere near requiring a save from Wojciech Szczesny.
Well, he's been guilty of a couple of shots like that throughout this game. One in the first half went way wide, and that was another very, very poor execution. Got the technique totally wrong.
Played forward by Di Sciglio, kept it simple, nicely weighted ball. Mandzukic now, tracked by Chipsa, not stopped by him, decent ball in, and Salomon was there to head it behind. Both goals in this match scored fairly early in the game, in the opening 16 minutes or so. Rodrigo Bentancur across to Mandzukic. Could be a goal kick. Mandzukic actually hasn't scored since just before Christmas. So here comes the change, first one. Daniel Ciofani is the man being replaced by Andrea Pinamonti. So Pinamonti, the young centre-forward, is on, the Italian under-20 international, just 19 years of age. Pinamonti, the substitute, is a player they got on loan from Inter. So first change made by Marco Baroni tonight for Frosinone. Didn't see too much from Ciofani, did we, Trevor? That header in the first half, which he put well wide of the post.
Yeah, that was the only chance he really had in the game, but chances have been few and far between for the away team, as you would expect against the league leaders.
Well, certainly in the opening quarter of an hour or so, it looked as if they could be on the end of a hiding, but they've managed to stem the flow of goals, having conceded those 2 early ones. It's in towards Pinamonti. Doesn't find him this time. Zampano available on the near side, as is Eduardo Goldaniga. Goldaniga sends it to nobody in particular. It'll be a throw-in for the home team. And Federico Bernardeschi is preparing to come on for Juventus shortly. I think be no surprise to see the changes start to be made now. Free kick for the challenge on Sami Khedira. And the free kick given away by Capuano. Here comes Ronaldo, support from De Sciglio. And towards Betancourt. Claiming a touch, wanting a corner. The referee not so interested.
Lovely ball from Ronaldo. Plenty of pace, drifting in towards his teammate. I think he did get a touch.
A few last-minute instructions for Juventus make their first substitution as Bernardeschi waits to come on with roughly half an hour remaining in the match. As Molinaro ended up on the deck just inside the final half an hour of the game. Bit of space here as well for Chiellini, De Sciglio on the near side, Ronaldo as well. This is Bonucci, scorer of the second goal. Little flick by Joao Cancelo, who will receive the free kick, I think, for this challenge here.
Well, it should be a yellow card, shouldn't it? No intention of
Molinaro.
No, he wasn't going to play the ball. It's a clever bit of skill from the right fullback Cancelo, flicking it around Molinaro. Just got blocked off, didn't he?
Mandzukic challenge from behind. We're going to have a yellow card here, which is going to be shown to Capuano, Marco Capuano, the former Cagliari man. Third player in the book tonight, Emre Can for Juventus. Salomon is also in the book. It's Molinaro actually who's got the booking there, not Capuano.
And not before time.
I was going to say that could have been about 2 minutes ago, couldn't it? If not before.
It could have been an hour ago.
And the player's just got a little bitty. No real flow in this moment in time as Ronaldo tries to take the kick quickly, knowing full well he wasn't going to be able to do so. Cancelo trying to craft a pass forward, and Bentancur finds Mandzukic, and Ronaldo has his goal. 3-0 Juventus. The opportunity arrived, his eyes lit up, and in the blinking of an eye, the ball was in the back of the net. Juventus 3, Frosinone 0.
It's all so predictable. Ronaldo scoring yet again, but he makes it look so easy. He comes onto this ball and strikes it so cleanly. My initial thought was that possibly the goalkeeper could have done better, but I think it takes him by surprise. He He's actually calling for it. Strikes it with such power though, doesn't he? Gets the accuracy as he always does. Always on target. Well, I've done the keeper a disservice there. I thought it went between his legs, but it goes to his side. It's a great strike from Ronaldo. He recognised that he had to hit that early. He did, and it was a beautiful strike.
Just in the nick of time as well from Ronaldo, because he is the man who is now making way. So the crowd have got what they came to see, a goal from their star man, Cristiano Ronaldo's 19th in 24 league appearances for Juventus this season. Another successful night at the office for him, and his thoughts can shortly turn towards the Champions League again, as Federico Bernardeschi is on to replace him. Bernardeschi scored when the teams met in the reverse fixture on match day 5 back in September. His goal right at the end of the game, securing a 2-0 victory on the day for Juventus. But it's 3-0, it's equaling their biggest ever, or not their biggest ever, their biggest win of the season, which they've done more than once. They've never scored more than 3 this season against anybody, which is a big surprise when you consider how successful they've been. Well, Allegri, I think, will be happy with the way preparations are going ahead of the meeting with Atletico Madrid, with Chiellini and Bonucci back in the team. Lasting over an hour so far. Dybala and Ronaldo scoring again. Here's Zampano. Frosinone just looking for a goal here.
It's good defending from Di Chilio in those wide areas. Good example there of a fullback working really hard to stop the cross coming in. That's something that's going out of the game. Too often you see crosses coming in without a real block coming in. But he did great there, Di Chilio.
Whipped in by Viviani. Salomon unable to get his head on the ball. Not cleanly anyway. Viviani able to keep possession. Casata, and Szczesny was committed to that one. Minor collision with his own teammate there.
Unchallenged. Made an early decision, Szczesny. Hasn't had too much to do, but takes that nice and cleanly. I think if he'd been on the training field, he may have brought that down on his chest.
A clean sheet for the Polish goalkeeper last weekend in the away win at Sassuolo, and rarely troubled this evening. Mattia Di Chilio then for Juventus. Plenty of time in possession here for Khedira. João Cancelo. Here's Giorgio Chiellini. Meaty thump of the ball from Bartosz Salomon, the Polish defender, as Emre Can just gets his wires crossed a little. That's something he was quick to acknowledge as soon as the ball had left his boot. Capuano. Salomon.
Yes, it was a poor attempt at a pass from Can, but when you're 3-0 up, you can actually get away with that. I think there would have been a lot of boos going around the stadium if they'd been losing 1-0 and he made a pass like that.
Just the sort of evening they were hoping for, though, isn't it, that Allegri would have been hoping for.
Couldn't agree more. It's the perfect workout for Juventus.
João Cancelo, how about this for a run? Powerful, forcing his way all the way up to the edge of the Frosinone penalty area. Dybala's flick. Chiellini happy to leave it for Di Chilio. Here's Bernardeschi. Nice touch for him, long off the bench. So 14 points clear they're going to be, Juventus, before anybody else plays this weekend. And Napoli at home to Torino.
I think I looked and saw that next week They play lowly Bologna.
Yeah.
So another 3 points for Juventus.
Yeah, next league match for Juve, quite right, Trevor, at Bologna on Sunday the 24th. And the first weekend in March sees them travel to second place Napoli, so that'll be a decent game. Cancelo, Dybala. And Djukic happy to loiter out wide for the time being at least. Paulo Dybala. No pressure on the Juventus players in possession of the ball here. Mattia Di Scilio. Bernardeschi. Stress-free and straightforward for Juventus so far this one, as Dybala goes for the return. Little exchange with Bernardeschi. Well, had he found his teammate there, that could have been spectacular.
Well, it was lovely to watch, but I'm surprised that Dybala didn't elect to take the shot on like he did in that first half, where he had so much success with a brilliant goal.
Here comes the next change, and Giorgio Chiellini is going to make way. Martin Cáceres will come on to replace him. Don't think that's an issue at all. I think with Chiellini coming back from injury, Allegri was saying as recently as yesterday that he felt that Chiellini was a doubt to play today. Bonucci was always going to play. Chiellini wasn't so sure, he said yesterday, but as you can see that he's been able to get a decent amount of time. 70 minutes from Chiellini is a good return, testing out the injury, and back up and running. And Martin Cáceres, the Uruguayan, is on for what remains. He'd started the previous 2 matches in the league. Cáceres is such an experienced player. In his full spell, he's been a Juventus player in various times during his career, but they've got him on loan for the second half of the season from Lazio. Little flick into the air off Andrea Pinamonti, the young striker. Pinamonti there as well, with the ball back to the halfway line. He's up alongside Camilo Ciano up front. This is Roman Chivsa. Not such a great ball back by Eduardo Goldaniga. Salomon. Chips up, threading it forward. Zampano. Here's Dybala. How about that? Wonderful. Warm applause all around the stadium.
Crossfield pass for Mandzukic wasn't bad either.
Cancelo, Khedira. First touch for Cáceres, just off the bench. Now Bonucci. A little too long, looking for Mandzukic. Loves roaming about. We saw him way out on the touchline a few minutes ago. Now back in through the middle. Molinaro making the run on the left-hand side for Frosinone, but Cassata unable to get the ball through to him.
Whenever I see Mandzukic play, I always think back to that final at Cardiff. Real Madrid and Juventus in the Champions League final. I was actually at the game, and what a volley that was.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic finish. Viviani collecting it for Frosinone. Little ball of Chipsa got forward deep into the Juventus penalty area. Bentancur finds Cancelo, and Molinaro just straining every sinew in pursuit of reclaiming possession for his team. Well, Wojciech Szczesny found himself heading down a cul-de-sac there all of a sudden.
But he did the correct thing, didn't he? Didn't try and do a little trick on the ball. He played it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, could easily have ended up with egg on his face had he tried to do that in that circumstance, but yellow shirts of Frosinone still battling away, albeit at 3-0 behind. Viviani. Chipsa up alongside Pinamonti at the moment as Molinaro sends it through, and it's way beyond everybody. Goldaniga, collected here by Francesco Zampano. Mandzukic has been penalised here, which from Frosinone's point of view is not a bad spot to have a free kick.
He's complaining, saying that he didn't touch his opponent. Let's see who's right. I think the referee's right. Late challenge, sliding in.
Did catch the player's boot.
It's a similar position to the free kick we saw in the stroke of half-time. It just went over Chesney's crossbar.
So we're going to see Camillo Ciano once more, do you think, maybe striking this one? Ciano certainly looks as if he's nearby and an option. Chesney not happy, the ball is exactly where he wants it to be at the moment here. So there's a bit of a debate as to who actually is going to take this free kick by the looks of it. Federico Viviani is there as well. It's Camillo Ciano. The ball does its job. I think it struck Mandzukic there in the wall. Collected here by Joao Cancelo, and it will be a throw-in for Juventus. Discilio. Bernardeschi. Away from Zampano. Comfortable and unhurried in possession, Juventus.
This is no more strenuous than a tough training session. 3-0 to the good, just stroking the ball around, not exerting too much energy. It's absolutely ideal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's perfect when you've got a trip to Atletico Madrid coming up in a few days' time. In the first leg of their round of 16 match in the Champions League. The flick forward by Discilio. Cut out by Goldaniga, gets there ahead of Bernardeschi. Here's Khedira now, who almost got his name on the score sheet. He almost got a kick in the head as well from Panucci, who just beat him to the ball on the goal line for that second goal. Viviani for Frosinone. Ciano makes his run into the box, but the ball doesn't arrive. Viviani forced out wide, Capuano. Too long for Pinamonti, too short for Chipsa. Away off the header initially from Discilio. And Cancelo cuts it out. Raman Chipsa is going to leave the field and be replaced by Mirko Gori, a player who was actually born in Frosinone, who comes off the bench for the 7th time this season in Serie A. Miralem Pjanic is also going to come on. Tidily dealt with by Bonucci. Mandzukic on the ground. Here's the substitute, Gori. First touch for him. Emre Can was the covering player for Juventus. Frosinone still searching for a consolation goal. Managed to get a 1-1 draw on their only other visit in Serie A. They're not going to get a draw tonight, but they'll love to at least have a goal. But before any opportunity at the other end of the pitch avails itself, they've got more defending to do here now. Bernardeschi with the delivery, not close to finding Mandzukic. Here's Dybala, now Khedira, Bernardeschi, De Sciglio. Juventus happy to take their time to find a more presentable opening. Doesn't arrive on this occasion. Molinaro able to clear. The tussle, there's Pinamonti, the substitute. Beaten by De Sciglio. Khedira with time to look up. Mandzukic was looking for Dybala. Here's Joao Cancelo. And Bentancur is making the run. Emre Can going up with the goalkeeper. Sportiello.
Well, I think it was Cancelo who played the ball into the box. Clever ball with the outside of his right foot. He's been excellent tonight, hasn't he, down that right-hand side. That was brave goalkeeping.
Yeah, Sportiello had to keep his eye on that with Emre Can rapidly advancing. So Sami Khedira is the latest player to be replaced, with Miralem Pjanic on for what remains of the game. The Bosnia and Herzegovina midfielder, Pjanic. He immediately is welcome to the match in a way which leaves him on the floor. Yellow card here for Cassata, the midfielder. Dybala. And it's whipped in and beaten away by Sportiello. That was nicely worked.
Clever, wasn't it, from Dybala? Everyone expected the ball to come into the penalty box. He just played it square, and the strike was good too. Not easy ball to hit that first time. Hit it nice and cleanly, good accuracy. Keeper made a decent save.
Here's Pjanic. Cancelo then, not enjoying the close attentions of Zampano. And Juventus coasting home here once again. Can they find another goal to secure their biggest margin of victory of the season, or will they just settle for the 3 and allow the match to meander towards its conclusion. But Max Allegri will be very happy with what he's seen from his squad. Perfect build-up for that Madrid game. 3 more points in the bag. Another substitution for Frosinone. So Luca Paganini is the latest player to come on. Paganini's a player who's just going to be relieved to be playing again. He's had so many problems with a cruciate injury. This is his first appearance of the season. He'd been on the bench for the previous 3 matches before tonight, after recovering from had a cruciate injury last season as well, earlier in the campaign. So it's just good to see him back out on the field. That's the number 7 for Frosinone, Luca Paganini. As the corner comes in, and Szczesny under a little bit of pressure from Eduardo Goldaniga. It was Casata up to the edge of the penalty area. Caceres bringing it under control, but just rolling away from Cancelo. A little over 5 minutes remaining. Bartosz Salomon. And now it's with Goldaniga. Back to the drawing board for Frosinone, but to get anything from this, it would have been a bonus tonight. It's not the sort of game that's going to make a real difference for them, I think, this season. Of course, there's such a big gulf between the two clubs in every sense of the word.
No, they've tried hard, but in all honesty, there's been a gulf in class. In the moment that Dybala struck that glorious shot with his left foot, there's only ever going to be one winner.
And Frosinone, by the way, home to Roma in their match. It doesn't get too much easier for them. That's a week tomorrow, evening kick-off on Saturday the 23rd. They're at home to Roma, then they travel to Genoa in their next game. But still certainly with high hopes of avoiding relegation, and this their 2nd season ever in Serie A. But Juventus happy to just move the ball around. Cleared away by Salomon, covered by Bonucci. Pjanic nearby, and now in possession. Dybala happy to come deep as well and get involved. He's had a good game tonight, hasn't he, Trevor Dybala?
He's been excellent. He's popped up all over the field. He's received plenty of the ball. But it helps, doesn't it, when you've scored after 15, 16 minutes with a splendid shot. Your confidence is right up high, and he's wanted the ball every opportunity. It
was an absolute cracker of a goal from Paulo Dybala to get things rolling for Juventus tonight. In the opening 6 minutes of the game, 2 up after 16 thanks to Bonucci. Result never in doubt. Chase is on the air. Bentancur still full of running at this late stage of the match, challenging Goldaniga. And conceding a free kick.
Once again, the referee gets it absolutely spot on. He's had a decent game, the referee, and that's that free kick. Great strike too, wasn't it, with his left foot from Bernardeschi.
He's sweetly struck by the Italian international, Bernardeschi. Well, João Cancelo staying on the ground here, and the ball put straight out of play. Normally would expect the referee to stop the game pretty quickly when a player has a head injury, and it's obvious that's what it is. Just got a blow to the chin.
Well, I think Cancelo has been excellent tonight, but I don't think he covers himself in glory there, because that wasn't
as bad as he made it sound.
Well,
with his anguished cry as he went to the ground. And Cancelo there, has there been an off-the-ball incident as it was played forward? João Cancelo is the player involved in that. And the referee straight away shows the yellow card. Might be worth another look. Sure to what extent too much happened, but there was a coming together. Let's watch the bottom of your screen there as he blocks off the player making the move forward.
Does he block him off with his left arm? Possibly catches him in the face. I think he's very lucky. On another day, could have received a red card.
It was a cynical piece of play, but here's Ronaldo's goal. That was his last touch of the ball tonight. Signed off for the evening in some style. Another game, another goal. 21 for the season so far. Viviani for Frosinone. We're going to stay just one off the bottom of the table. Chievo, the one team who are adrift at the bottom, just the one win for Chievo so far this season. Chievo, by the way, away at Udinese on Sunday. Collected by Emre Can. Doesn't reach Bernardeschi. Christian Molinaro makes sure of that. Frosinone still looking for a measure of late consolation here in this match. They have kept plugging away. So we've had our 90 minutes, and into a minimum of 3 of added time we go. Goldeniga again involved in the 6-yard box, up for all the set plays, but behind, and Szczesny happy to take his time. Well, another clean sheet for him beckoning, second week in a row. And Frosinone's Serie A adventure continues. Just the 3 wins, all of them on the road. It was very unusual for a team not to win a single match at home. That's certainly the case for them this season up to now. We'll try and put that right against Roma next week. Sportiello into the near side. Goldeniga. Time almost up in Turin. Juventus coasting. I think that's the only word for it. Coasting towards a 21st win of the season. They remain unbeaten. Unbeaten in Serie A since last April, when they lost by the only goal to Napoli. Almost cut out there by Dybala. Molinaro.
Quite revealing, isn't it, the dying seconds of the game, and Juventus still working hard to go and close the ball down. That's drilled into them when they come to this football club. It's in the DNA. They've shown great character.
Yeah, and professional at all times. Pjanic. Play with a real intensity all the way through to the final whistle. Pretty obvious pull there, but not something that was about to stop Emre Can. He's got support. Federico Bernardeschi. Well, he had to get it past 3 defenders.
Yeah, but Cancelo was saying, why didn't you give it back to me? 3 players went to close him down and left Cancelo totally open.
You can't blame him for saying that either. And it was the last action of the game, and a very comfortable 3 points for Juventus. Perfect preparation for Allegri's team ahead of their Champions League first leg game in the round of 16 away to Atletico Madrid next midweek. Paulo Dybala set them on the road to victory with a fantastic strike in the opening minutes of the game. Leonardo Bonucci back in the team after injury alongside Giorgio Chiellini added the second also early in the game, and Cristiano Ronaldo, who else, completed the job after an hour. Juventus 3, Frosinone 0. Well, Juventus making the perfect start to the match. Paulo Dybala with a fantastic goal into the top corner of the net. What a strike. Dybala getting them up and running as early as the 6th minute.
Oh, unstoppable, terrific strike.
Well, it was 2-0 to Juventus very early in the match. 16 minutes played, the corner only half cleared, Mandzukic beyond the far post. And then the first player to reach the ball was Bonucci, and Bonucci able to get there just ahead of who nearly got a boot in the head as well.
Sportiello makes a good save from Mandzukic, but the 2 players on hand to prod it over the goal line. You're right, Khedira could have scored, but it was Bonucci with a high boot.
Came with just over an hour played. It was Cristiano Ronaldo, beautifully set up, and he hit the ball sweetly past Sportiello into the back of the net. Another super strike from Ronaldo.
He didn't have his greatest game tonight, Ronaldo, but he always gets a goal. It's a brilliant strike, doesn't break stride, knew he had to hit it straight away, doesn't hesitate. Lovely clean strike, beats the goalkeeper quite easily.
And then there was the one final chance for a 4th goal, which fell to the substitute Federico Bernardeschi. It was a lovely free kick from Paulo Dybala, and Bernardeschi hitting it first time, bringing a good save from Sportiello, the goalkeeper.
I think Dybala
So that was the first match from the round 24 fixtures in Serie A. A couple of games coming up tomorrow. Atalanta against Milan is the big game of the 2, and Milan are 1 place and 1 point above Atalanta as they make that journey. On Sunday, both Napoli and Inter are at home. Sampdoria head to the Giuseppe Meazza to take on Inter, while the evening kickoff sees Napoli hosting Torino at the San Paolo. The last game of the round takes place on Monday night. Roma, who are chasing a European spot, much improved form from them. They're at home to struggling Bologna. And there's no change at the top of the table, of course. Juventus have merely extended their lead at the top of Serie A, and Juventus are now on 66 points. Napoli second on 52, so it's a 14-point gap at the top of the table. Inter still in 3rd, and then Milan in 4th, all the way down to Sampdoria in 9th. Just 6 points separating all those teams. It's going to be a big scrap for a place in the top 4. So at the bottom end of the table, Chievo Verona are still adrift, just the 1 win for them this season. Frosinone haven't moved at all and Frosinone on 16, Empoli just ahead of them on 18, Bologna as well, and Udinese on 19. So very tight around the relegation places at the bottom end of the table, but still lots to play for Frosinone despite tonight's defeat to Juventus. So there was never really any doubt about who was going to win this match from as early as the 6th minute of the game, when Paulo Dybala swept Juventus into the lead with a world-class goal high into the corner of Marco Sportiello's net. Leonardo Bonucci there made it 2 after 16 minutes. Cristiano Ronaldo added the 3rd. Perfect preparation for the Champions League match against Atletico Madrid. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.